Today we're doing a special 4th of July episode on Busy Bakin, and what is more American than apple pie? So today we're going to do a homemade apple pie. We are still cheating a little bit because we are using some pre-made pie crust, but it's still going to be yummy. It's going to be amazing. Get it hot out of the oven, cut you a slice with a little bit of vanilla ice cream melted on it and some caramel sauce, and you got a perfect dessert for your 4th of July cookout. So today for our apple pie, what we need is going to be 3 to 4 large apples, peeled and sliced. I use Honeycrisp apples, but you can use Golden Delicious, any type of apple that you want to use. We need 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, a cup of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of flour. Now we also have a little bit of water here and then a little extra flour in a different bowl that we're going to use a little bit later. But first, all you want to do is cut up your apples. I used 3 because they are fairly large apples, and you just want it to be able to fill up your pie crust. Now make sure when you get your pie crust, you get 2, and you want them the 9-inch deep dish because this is going to be a lot of apple juicy goodness when we finish. So you want to make sure you have enough. The first thing we're going to do, guys, is just dump in our sugar and our cinnamon and our flour. And now you're gonna have to mix this together with your hands, so just make sure you don't have on any jewelry and anything because it's gonna get messy. But we really just wanna coat these apples in cinnamon and sugar and the flour. And the reason I keep a little bit of water handy is because I wanna dump just a little bit of water in here. If your apples are really juicy, you won't have to do that step. But mine are not as juicy, so I want to make sure we got a little bit of liquid in here. So I just add a little bit of water. And what I like to do is cut mine in a little bit bigger chunks because I do like a little bit of crispness when I eat my apple pies. But what we're going to do is just take this apple mixture and we're going to just spread it all around in our pie crust. Just make sure you get some of this goodness out of the bottom of your bowl you were just mixing and put it in. Now what we're going to do with our butter is we're going to dot the pie with it. So basically you're just going to take your butter and just get a knife and just cut off little pieces of butter. It doesn't really matter how big or how small they are, but you just want to cut it off and you just want to dot it all along the pie. So when the pie cooks, it's going to melt and just kind of get in between the apples and the pie crust. I'm just going to just add a little bit more flavor to your pie. So you just want to take a knife, be sure not to cut yourself, and just cut up the butter and just dot it all along the pie in between your apples and your pie crust. Alright, now that's done. We're going to set this to the side and we're going to prepare the top to our pie crust. And we're gonna make it look a little fancy, but it's not gonna take that much work. Okay, y'all, so for the top of our pie crust, what we're gonna do is take our second pre-made pie crust that came in our pack, and you wanna let them sit out of the freezer and out of the refrigerator for a little while before you cook your pie because you want it to be a little bit soft. And I just take a clean dish towel and then just take some flour, some of this extra flour that you had, and just sprinkle it on your dish towel and kind of smooth it in so that it doesn't stick to your dish towel. And what we're going to do is we're going to peel our pie crust off. Don't worry if it gets broken or cracked because we can always put it back together the way we need to. And what you're going to want to do is just flatten it out as good as you can. You don't need to roll it. We're not trying to get terribly fancy here. And you want the inside of the pie crust to be on the top. And what we're going to do is just take a knife, and I'm using the same knife I just used to cut up my butter. And we're just going to cut little strips. And it doesn't matter, they don't all have to be the same size. We're doing this in a hurry, but we're still going to make it look cute. And you're just going to lay it over the top of your pie. And then you're just going to keep cutting strips. And if you run out of pie crust, just take some of the edges and just smush it back together. And I'm just going to lay them beside each other. And we're going to go all the way across the pie, and then we're going to come back down the other side the same way. And I'm just going to smush this end here. And we're just going to come back the same way, and you're going to want to lace it in and out, every other one. So almost like you're weaving a basket. And it's going to make that little nice crisscross pattern on top of your pie. So I'm just gonna add a couple more to each side, and then I'll go around the edge with some of it and show you what I do there. Now once you're done with your pie crust, you can just smush the edges down, smush, smash, whatever you wanna do to them. And then what I'm gonna do is take and cut up some of this extra pie crust that I didn't use, and I'm just gonna put it all the way around the edge of the pie. Everybody will think you're Miss Betty Crocker. They'll ask you, did you buy this pie at a bakery or did you get it out of the frozen food section? No, ma'am. We made it ourselves. All right, now I don't have enough to finish out the pie, so I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull off some of these edges that are hung over, and then I'm just gonna roll them together with my hand. And like I said, we're not here to get too fancy, so we're not gonna get out a rolling pin because I don't have time for that. I'm about to have a little cookout, so I gotta start cooking my regular food. We can't spend all day on the desserts. So I'm just gonna smush it around. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take my knife and just scrape around the edges so that our edges aren't all over the place. Just be careful not to dump your pie contents all over the floor. All right, so our pie is ready to go. It looks cute, it looks good. I always, when I pull mine out, sprinkle a little sugar on it, so we'll go over that when we're done. But pop this in for about 40 to 50 minutes. Check on it maybe about 20 minutes in. If your pie crust starts getting really brown, just pop some tinfoil over it for the rest of the time cooking. You should be able to stick a fork or a toothpick in your little apple pieces, and it should be really soft, so it should go in and come out. It shouldn't be hard, and you'll know your pie's ready. So like I said, pop some tinfoil over it, make sure we don't burn the pie crust too bad, and I'll see y'all back in a minute. Woo, y'all. Okay, my pie's out of the oven, and my house smells divine. That smells like apple cinnamon. It's so yummy, better than a Yankee Candle. So what I did was, my pie crust started getting a little dark around the edges, which I like that, but some people may not. So about 20 minutes in, I just lightly put some tinfoil over it. You don't have to do it tight, just drape it over it for the last, I'd say about 20-25 minutes. I just let it cook and then check the apples. Some people may want to leave it in there about 5 minutes longer, just because I like my apples just still a little bit crisp on the inside in my pies, but if you want them all the way cooked through, leave it in there about 5 more minutes. Mine was in there about 45 minutes. And then when it came out, while it's still hot, sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top. Give it a little extra sweetness when you eat it, and it's still warm. So I'm about to go cut me a piece with some ice cream. Shh, yum. So this was our 4th of July Busy Baking episode with a homemade apple pie. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, guys, if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see our new videos posted every Thursday. Please have a safe and happy holiday, and stay sweet, y'all.